Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'd like to show you how I restored this large mirror which I recently found thrown out. So recently when I was driving around I found this large mirror that was thrown out, and I thought I've got to pick this up and give it a makeover. And you can see that somebody has tried to paint it, and they've done quite a poor job of that. There's paint on the mirror and you can see a lot of brush strokes, and it's really thick. I think it's emulsion. So I need to get all this paint off and start again. So firstly I needed to dismantle the mirror. I removed the string at the back and the attachments. Then I found some random staples that I removed. And there were some staples holding the backboard on, so I just had to pull those up to get them out of the way. I could then remove the backboard, which was quite stiff because there was some glue holding it onto the mirror. There you can see the old glue, so I'll need to remove that. I just used a blade to scrape that off. Then I needed to lift the mirror out carefully. Now I needed to remove all of the paint from the mirror, again using a blade and just gently scraping it off. Then I just gave the mirror a quick clean with some glass cleaner. So now I could start to scrape off this paint. I would have just sanded over it, but it's very thick. It's been plastered on, so it's just got to come off. Again, I'm just using a small blade to help me to scrape the paint off. If you have a heat gun, that would help to speed things up. I used a few different metal tools to get into the awkward spaces. Then I could sand it down with 100 grit sandpaper just to remove any last bits of paint and smooth it all out. I wanted to add a bit of strength to the mitre joints, so I've got these angled brackets here that I'm going to add. And at the bottom I'm using some straight brackets which will do just fine. and these will help me when I fill in the gaps in the mitre joints. Helps hold everything nice and steady and rigid. So you can see there's some small gaps in these mitred corners. I've mixed up a bit of wood filler with some very fine sawdust and some PVA glue, and I'm just going to work it into those cracks, and it'll just look nicer when I paint it later on. Just using a wet damp rag there to remove the excess glue, and then I'm giving everything a sanding down again with a 180 grit paper, and then brushing off all of the dust. Now I wanted to give a layer of undercoat to the frame. I've got some white undercoat here and I've watered it down just to give a nice thin coat. I could then sand that back ready for painting. So for the finish I've got this silvery gold glitter paint. I applied several coats. Giving about 5 or 10 minutes in between each coat to dry. Then it was time to reassemble the mirror once the paint was dry. I went to put the glass back in, but the original staples were preventing it from going in, so I decided to remove these. Then the mirror would go in. Followed by the backboard. And then to replace the staples I used some panel pins. I knocked them in at an angle so that I could then push them down onto the backboard to keep it all nice and tight. Then I could add the fixings and the string. So now it was ready to hang. I just gave the mirror a quick polishing up. And that was it, all done.
So that's about it for this video. I was pleased how it turned out in the end, considering that it was a mirror that I found thrown out, but it's certainly a lot easier to just buy yourself a mirror. It was only worth doing for the fun of it, really. It took quite a few hours to do. So if you did find this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more DIY related videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.